I'm going to give you a 3-step system to fix your motivation. And it's going to be very, very not what you expected. So, one of the reasons that we're so unmotivated is because these days our main goal is to feel good. And that's a real issue with the brain, because if our goal is to feel good, what we'll do is we'll try to avoid pain at all costs, and we'll try to optimize for pleasure. This teaches us that we can't handle the pain. So basically, we're aligning our lives completely to avoid pain, which is a huge problem, because we do need to engage in some suffering in order to get anything worthwhile done. If it was worth doing, there's probably some suffering involved, right? And so whenever we're tasked to do something significant in which maybe we could fail, now because we've aligned our entire goal system towards pleasure and avoiding pain, we struggle doing this. Like, we can't get ourselves to do it, because then we kind of feel like we're failing if we're experiencing painful emotions. And that's because as a society, we've sort of villainized feeling bad, and we villainized suffering, because we kind of have this idea like you should feel good, you should be happy, and you should, like act like you're doing great even though you're scared you might fail at this. And so we've kind of glorified this like effortless goal achievement while also being super happy, and there's like this morality to being happy these days. And this is really difficult on our minds, because if you've seen any of my other videos, you know that pain and pleasure have sort of like a seesaw system in the brain. And so essentially we need to engage in suffering in order to feel good. Like, it's a mechanism that works together. So if we just constantly chase pleasure, we're going to get desensitized to pleasure, and we're going to just feel anhedonia and kind of feel like really dissatisfied and bored all of the time. And so how do you fix this? Okay, so step 1, and this is kind of level 1, your goal for the day, and this is your only goal, is avoid avoiding. You can write it on top of your to-do list. And so now all of your goals are eliminated. The only thing that you can center your mind towards is to avoid avoiding. So whenever you find yourself avoiding, you have to remind yourself, my goal is to avoid avoiding. So try living your life like that until you master that. Then, level 2. Once you've mastered avoiding, because a lot of us are causing so much problems for ourselves through avoidance. Level 2 is, I choose to do the harder thing. That's kind of your level 2 mantra. So whenever you're faced with a decision throughout your day, and we're all faced with tons of decisions, choose the harder one, right? So eating cookies versus eating, salad, whatever. Whichever one is harder for you, you choose that. And I don't want you to be facetious. We all know which one is the better one. So that's what I mean by choose the harder one, right? So don't overthink this, but essentially choose the one that you know will be better for your long-term self, for your long-term outcomes. And then level 3, once you've gotten better at choosing the harder thing, the thing that's better for your future self, is you need to align your mindset to, I want a hard life. I want to feel hardship. So if you can actually really conceptualize that you want to do hard things, you want to feel a lot of negative emotion, because that indicates to you that you're choosing to put yourself out there. You're choosing to take the risks that you want to take in life, because you want to build bigger things. You want to do more with your life. Then you will actually be able to engage in all of these things that you've been avoiding, these things that you've been overthinking, these things that you've had anxiety about because you're in this weird place where you want to take the risk and you want to do these things that you know are important in your life, but at the same time, you're so afraid of failure. Align yourself to the idea that I want a hard life. I want hardship. I want to feel bad. And so if you make that your goal, it's so much easier for the mind, because then you don't feel like a failure when you're feeling bad. You don't feel like a failure when you're struggling, because struggle is normal. Struggle is part of doing something that is significant. And so be really careful with this whole like, I want to feel good all of the time type of thing that's going on, because that's super toxic for the mind. If you make pleasure the goal, you'll live a really small life and you'll just engage in tons of distractions, and you'll kind of have this like strange anxiety that never goes away because you know you want to be doing more with your life, but you're too scared of feeling pain because your goal is to feel good. I hope this makes sense, and I hope this is a practical way to get unstuck for you if you felt like your motivation is suffering, or you're just feeling stuck, or you kind of don't understand why you don't feel motivated or you don't feel energized for life anymore. This is why, because we're just not meant to be such kind of pleasure-seeking creatures. The mind is not made for this. And if you want to work on this more, and if you want to kind of change your mind faster, I encourage you to schedule an intercession. This is something I work on with my high achievers, and we can get you there much faster working one-on-one.